So, time to take you through the grid for the pre-final for Junior Rotax. After qualifying this morning, Thijs van Wijk will lead from pole position. Alongside will be Rick Corporal in the number 244 Jim Back, and Dave Stevens will be on row 2. Ahead of Boris Maximov and Timo Koopmans. Rocco Keur and Joe Valkenaars will be on row number 4, and they will be ahead of Luca van Leer and Adam Vida, who round out the top 10. Then we've got Max Swiderski and the, I think it's the 221 of Bodine Blankenberg. They'll be on row 6. Head of Eva Dorrestein and Boris Verhaag on row 7. Levi Dries and Bram van der Weken ahead of Ryan Kiewitzbosch, Vince Dries, Lieke van Berkel, Noorden Engelsman and Jort van Ekelen, who didn't set a lap time in qualifying this morning. And it will be again 10 minutes plus 2 laps. So, red lights on the gantry, revs rise, lights are on, full start is given, and it's going to be another tour around the circuit. Greetings to some of my friends from Camp Company GmbH who are at Kart Club Kerpen at the moment. Daniel Lampman and Dave Ritson, good afternoon. I know you guys are watching at the minute. So, we have got a restart on our hands. So, this will give the drivers an opportunity to refocus. Now, this is where the interesting part of the story comes in, reference to regulations. If there is a second full start, the timer will continue to count down. And that has happened before. We had that happen a couple of times, I think, at Berchem, if I remember correctly. So, round Marshall Post. Number 6, go the drivers. Van Wijk and Corporal on the front row. Revs rise, lights are on. Lights are out this time, and the Junior Max pre-final gets underway. Corporal edged out through turn number 1. Looks to have dropped down to, I think, 4th or 5th as the field makes its way through turn 2. It's getting to be a bit of a scramble from 5th backwards as the field hurtles its way in. 2 by 2, but at the moment Van Wijk leads. Jim Back up to 2nd place. Boris Maximov now 3rd. Rick Corporal running on the Carlos Sainz chassis. Oh, robust move there by Maximov on Jim Back, going through in towards turn 8. We'll start hunting down Thijs van Wijk. Dave Stevens is probably going to be not that well. Dave Stevens drops to 10th place, but it is getting a bit feisty out there. As Rick oh, there's been a touch and it's caused a chain reaction. Now that might have been Luca van Leer in the 284 that went up the inside of Jim Back. And there is the 284 just hemorrhaging places as we speak. So Jim Back was up to 3rd. I think might have been just demoted and dropped out of the top 10 as the field make their way through the chicane. So Van Wijk leads. Maximov in 2nd. Corporal in 3rd. 4th could be, I think maybe Rocco Keur. We'll just find out as they come across the line. It's, well, Jim Back in 4th. Max Swiderski, the 297. Up 6 places, now rounds out the top 5. Rocco Keur, Adam Vida, Jur Valkenaars, Eva Dorrestein and Ryan Kiewitzbosch round out the top 10. Thijs Stevens down to 11th, Bodine Blankenberg 12th, Lieke van Berkel, Levi Dries, followed by Noorden Engelsman, who's moved up 5 spots from 20th on the grid and now runs 15th. So the top 3 have definitely made good their intentions. Their lead, or 3rd to 4th, was 2 seconds. Now it's just under. Rocco Kerr, new fastest lap of the race, 45.832. And it's line astern between the top three. 4 tenths. Covering Van Wyk, Maximov, as we have got one off. I think that is the 284 of Luca Van Leer. The 284 is out of the race, unfortunately, after that drama that just transpired a lap and a half ago. But the front end battle is still waging on furiously at the minute. Van Wyk starting to stretch a slight advantage to the tune of nearly 0.3 of a second. Ahead of Maximov. Jim Back, new fastest lap of the race, 45.687. Now has closed that gap. It's 1.5 seconds between third and fourth place as the leaders make their way on through into turn number 4. The left-hander on the middle part of the triangle here at Circuit de Landsard. Now they make their way through turn number 5. Rick Corporal looking to get through on Boris Maximov and also try and go for the race lead in his own right. 6 minutes and 20 seconds plus an additional lap to go. Nuden Engelsman is also out, I'm afraid. And Jot van Ekelen is currently in 19th position. The last of the runners in this field. So new fastest lap, Adam Vida, 2:68 in 7th position. Now up on a 44.980. Taze Stevens has just gone past David Dorrestein and is currently in 10th. Levi Dries past Lieke van Berkel. That's a change for 13th place. As now Rick Corporal senses an opportunity. As now Boris Maximov is starting to lose ground to Thijs van Wyk, who's leading the way. Jim Back at the moment is probably lapping the best part of nearly, what is it? Close to 2 tenths quicker. As Corporal looking for a possible move, might go for the move up towards turn 2 or 3. And there's the 244 on the chassis that is now has Carlos Sainz's name alongside it. Multi-time Grand Prix winner, one with McLaren, twice in the last 16 months with Ferrari. Jim Back, in the meantime, has got that gap down between third and fourth to about 1.3 seconds, give or take. But at the minute, that is it's going to be interesting to see how Jim Back pulls away from Rocco Kerr, and that is happening. Rocco Kerr battling away with Max Sidursky, who's up 5 places from 11th on the grid. And Adam Vida, who's up from 10th on the grid, now currently running 7th. Demo Gutmans has dropped from 6th place to 16th and is behind Boris Verhagen, the number 233, who rounds out the top 15 positions. So Van Wyk is about to come up and lap a driver very, very shortly, I'm sure. So blue flags will be waving imminently. Maximov still holding on to second ahead of Rick Corporal. That gap is about 1.5 seconds between Corporal and Buck in the battle for P3 and P4 respectively. Dave Stevens, new fastest lap of the race, currently running in 9th, 44.178. So at this stage, it might get a bit more interesting. Yep, driver being given the blue flag, stayed at the racing line, that's compromised the race leader. Oh, Thijs van Wyk had to nip through there very, very quickly. Maximov gets through at turn number 2. And that driver has just been told by Rick Corporal, come on, stay out of the way, please. Of course, that is a warning to the driver that there is faster traffic approaching, but it's also the responsibility of the faster drivers closing on in to make the move safely and cleanly. And Dave van Wyk nearly got caught out big time. He's lost all that lead now, and it's about probably the best part of 0.4 of a second as we head into the final 2.5 minutes plus an additional 2 laps. It's now 0.37 between Van Wyk and Maximov. And Corporal is not that far behind either. There's the battle a little bit further back. Rocco Kerr still holding on to 5th place ahead of Max Sidursky and the number 268, Adam Vida. He's running with the Kartstall Benelux Racing team. Main office is based just north of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. But the battle for the lead really heating up with just over 1.5 minutes to go. Dave Stevens, who's now got past Jur Valkenaars, is on a charge and is also wanting to have the fastest lap of the race in the pocket. 43.986 for the 282. So 1st, 2nd and 3rd hotly contested. 4th back to 7th. Now pretty much line astern. The Corporal is still trying to get through on Maximov for that 2nd place because, we've got a yellow flag. As Badine Blankenberg is off. Somebody else is off the circuit. Possibly could be Bran van der Weyken, maybe. Not 100% sure because I can't see the 2nd kart involved. Well, there is a 2nd kart actually just up by... There's another kart. So 3 drivers. Ryan Kiewitzbosch, Badine Blankenberg, and it looks like Bran van der Weyken, unfortunately. So we're coming down to the final couple of seconds of this race, plus 2 additional laps. So timer has expired. Leaders making their way into turn number 3 for this plus 2 additional laps of racing. So 2 laps to go. Van Wyk's lead now stretches to 7.5 of a second. If Rick Corporal wants to do something, it's got to be done sooner rather than later. Through turn number 2 they go once again. Now into 3. Corporal really is fired up to get through on Maximov for that 2nd place. After this, 1 more lap to go. Well, Rick Corporal is going to get a 3-second time penalty for being 2 wheels outside of the tram lines on the start procedure, and is not the only person. Tay Stevens will also get that penalty post-race. And then the 232, Ryan Kiewitzbosch, gets a 10-second penalty, even though Kiewitzbosch is out of the race. That's an additional penalty for not following not following instruction of the officials. But we are on the final lap in this Junior Max pre-final. So with the 3-second time penalty, that's going to dump Rick Corporal outside of the top 6. But it is going to be the win for Thijs van Wyk, winning by just over 8.5 of a second. Ahead of Boris Maximov with Rick Corporal on the road, 3rd. And will have a time penalty that will actually That will make it 3.983 seconds behind Van Wyk, which will put Corporal fourth at the end of that. Jim Buck will take third and inherit it. Max Sidursky will be fifth, having started 11th on the grid. Ahead of Dave Stevens, Adam Vida. Dave Stevens will get a 5-second time penalty. That'll demote him down to 8th. So Adam Vida and Rocco Kerr will be ahead in adjustments post-race. And Rocco Kerr, Jules Valkenhaus, Eva Dorrestein rounds out the top 10 ahead of Levi Dries, Lieke van Berkel, Timo Koopmans, Boris Verhaag, Vince Ries, and Jod van Ekelen being the last of the classified finishers, finishing a lap down off the leaders. Badien Blankenberg, Bram van der Weken and Ryan Kiewitzbosch out on lap 10, with Lieke van Leer and Nu den Engelsman out on lap 2.